what does it mean to wait? When we go through various trials in life, this is how we are supposed to handle it. We're supposed to be patient. We're supposed to be still and know that God. We are supposed to relinquish our control. We're supposed to persevere. We're supposed to prepare. And above all else, we're supposed to trust God in the process, which is all the right things that we're supposed to do. But that's not all there is it? Is actually an action verb. It's a verb, and a verb is an action word. So while you are being still and persevering and being obedient, and there is something that you're supposed to be doing in that time. And oftentimes when we tell people to wait, we tell them to sit still. Now, sitting still is not the same as being still. Waiting teaches us patience if we learn to find purpose in the process that is preparing us for the promise. Those are the 5 P's that you see capitalized in that phrase. So we're talking about patience, purpose, process, preparing, and promise. So I like for it to be engaging. And so we're going to take this to a biblical scripture. And I'm going to flip this thing on the head a little bit and talk about waiting from the perspective of when we are sitting still, but not being still. So we all know the passage of the man that was at the pool, right? For those that don't know it, I'm going to read it just, because I'm not going to assume that everybody knows, but I'm going to read the story. And it's from John, the 5th chapter. It says, now in Jerusalem by the sheep gate, there is a pool called in Hebrew Bethsaida, which has 5 porticos. In these lay many invalids, blind, lame, and paralyzed. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been there a long time, he said to him, do you want to be made well? The sick man answered, sir, I have no one to put me in the pool when the water is stirred up, and while I am making my way, someone else steps ahead of me. Jesus said to him, stand up, take your mat, and walk. At once the man was made well, and he took up his mat and began to walk. Now that day was a Sabbath. What did you first notice about this man? He was there 38 years. Y'all might not believe this, but I'm 38 years old. So that man had been there my whole life. My whole life, that man had been in this one place. What else did you notice about this man? He gave Jesus excuses when he got the question about whether or not he wanted to be healed. Why? What else did you notice about this man? It seems as though he didn't have any hope. See, these are all the things that happens when we're waiting, especially when we're in one place for too long. The first thing that happens is we start to lose hope. We start to give up any idea that things are going to get better, or that things are going to change, or that we're going to get the things that we ask for. Right? So that's where our faith in God starts to waver. That's when we start to lose that trust, because it's like, all right, can you imagine? Picture this, Sicily, 1922. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine this, right? So you're sitting there and it's year number 1 and you're sick. You try to get to this stirring waters and you don't make it. So you go back to your mat. Year number 2, waters are stirred. You try to make it. You don't get there. You go back. Year number 3, what happens?
You're waiting.
Year number 5, what happens?
Same thing, same process.
Year number 10, what happens?
Same process, still.
Year number 20, what happens?
Same process, still sitting.
You see where we're going? But here's the difference. What should he or could he have been doing in between those years?
He could have inched his way.
He could have still been moving.
Mm-hmm.
He could have still been taking small steps towards the water. But instead, he only moved once the waters were stirred.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is an example of a person that was sitting still, but not being still. The other problem is that when we see this man, we talk about preparation. That's where that preparation comes in, Reverend McCormick. See, listen, y'all are the computer and y'all are the water. I got to get to you. Now, if I wait until the angel comes down to stir and I start to move, by the time I get there, what's going to happen?
The water has ceased stirring.
And somebody else has already got in. But what happens if I start off back here and I say, you know what? It's going to take me a while to get there. So while I'm waiting, I'm just going to take one step and take another step and take another step. And whoo, you know what? I'm tired, but the water ain't gonna be stirred no time soon. So I got time to wait. So let me sit here and recover, right? Mm-hmm. Let me sit here and restore myself. Let me catch my breath. Okay, now I'm gonna take another step and I'm gonna take another step. Oh, I'm tired again, but guess what? It's all right, because I got plenty of time for the water to get stirred. If I keep moving while I am waiting, by the time my time comes, I've now reached my destination or what I'm trying to get, and now I'm there because I prepared. You see it? So it was a process. In order for him to get to the process, he had to prepare and had to be willing to go through the process. He had to prepare. So he said, all right, I'm coming back here. I'm sit down. All right. So it's 10 steps in between me and the pool. And I got 365 days. So you know what? I'm going to take 10 steps every 30 days. All right. I got my plan. I prepared. All right. So I know this is going to be a long journey. So what do I need to take with me? I'm going to need to take a journal so I keep myself occupied. I'm going to need some music. I might need some friends to come along with me so I won't be by myself. What else am I going to need? I'm going to need some food. I might need a little bit of funds, you know, because I don't know how this is going to happen. All right, I'm ready to go. I've done my preparation. Now I'm going to get up. First 30 days, I'm taking 10. I'm taking 1, 2, 3. Boom, I got it. I'm closer than what I was before, further than what I was, you know, from my sick bed, from my whatever I'm trying to get away from. All right, I'm taking my rest. I'm taking my like 5-day rest. All right, next 30 days, 1, 2, 3. All right, we almost there. We halfway there. Next 30 days, 1, 2, 3. And by the time we are done, that year comes, that 2 years come, we are right at where the promise is. That's what waiting looks like. See, too often we make the mistake of going into process and we ask for things and then we make no type of provisions. And that's the other P is provision. We go through the process and then we make no other steps in order to get there. I'm going to get a new job, but you don't fill out no applications. Woo! Woo! I want to be a millionaire, but you save no money. I want to lose weight, but I'm going to keep going to Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm going to keep getting a half dozen of donuts.
That ain't right. That one ain't the right one. That's not right.
I want to be closer in my relationship with God, but I'm not even going to open my Bible.
Woo! Gone.
No type of provisions. Gotcha. No type of preparation. And even after you say, okay, you know what? I want to lose weight, so I'm going to stop eating the Krispy Kreme, right? Cool. But the problem is even while you are making those steps to cutting out the Krispy Kremes, how are you going to do it? Because if you've been eating Krispy Kremes for 38 years of your life, like I have, you ain't going to stop just one day and go cold turkey. So instead of, because that's how you mess up. You might be good the first week. I'm going to give you a whole week. You're going to be good the first 7 days. But then about day number 8, and you pass that red sign and it's lighting up in your face and it says hot now. Your car automatically be on autopilot. All of a sudden you start to taste it in your mouth, right? You can feel the donuts melting because y'all know when Krispy Kreme is hot, them donuts just melt in your mouth, right? All right. So where is the preparation? Yeah, that hot now sign is definitely the devil. The hot now sign, I believe that's why it's red, because it's the devil. But how do you make preparation? So instead of saying, I'm just going to cut Krispy Kreme cold turkey, it's, you know what? This time when I go in, instead of getting a half dozen, I'm going to get a half of a half a dozen. So I'm only going to get 3. But we still got to push it even a little bit further. And when I get 3, I'm only going to have 1 a day. That's how you prepare. You don't prepare by cutting yourself automatically off. You don't prepare by saying, oh, I'm going to put 50% of my check into my bank account and then I'm going to spend the other 50 when you've never done that before. You're going to fail. And especially when you decide that you want to start saving money, that's when you start finding things to spend money on. Okay. Let me just be honest with y'all. So for Lent, and Olivia told me this yesterday, Mama, I still don't understand the rules of this Lent thing because it doesn't make sense to me. So I told her for Lent that we are giving up eating out, but we went out to eat last night. So she didn't understand. And I had to explain to her, I'm giving up Lent from the perspective of spending money because listen, between June and February, I know we had to spend close to $1,000 on food and eating out because every time we go out, we spending $50. So I know we spent a lot of money between January and February. And she was home a lot too. So I'm paying for 2 people to eat and y'all seen Olivia, she is not a baby no more. Right? And so I said, listen, we're not spending this for Lent. We are not spending money on food. But let me tell you what I've done. I'm not spending money on food, but my Amazon cart stay with something in it though. I stay getting a package at my door for something. Old Navy had a massive sale and my little Old Navy cash had to be spent. So I went and bought some more workout clothes. Listen, I'm just telling y'all about my journey of waiting, okay? I'm supposed to be saving money, right? Because I'm trying to get a car because I want to get a new car. Yeah, Amazon Prime is the devil as well. You absolutely right. I'm trying to get a new car, but how I'm gonna save money if I start spending money on eating out, but now I'm spending money on other things. See, I didn't prepare for this journey. I didn't prepare for the process. And so that's what we have to do. We gotta make preparations. So instead of saying I was gonna stop, I should have said, well, Tashara, you need to leave your cards at home and remove them off of your online platforms. That's preparation. Well, Tashara, you need to put yourself on a budget. So if you do have to spend money and use your card, what is your budget going to be? Well, Tashara, make a list. What are the necessities that you need in this season? I done bought floating shelves. I don't need those right now. I just wanted them because I need some more shelf space in my house because I got too much stuff. Listen, I'm just being honest with y'all, okay? I'm telling y'all about my process of waiting. I'm waiting on this car, but I'm not making the provisions in order to get the car. So that's what we're talking about. We talk about these 5 Ps. My promise is the car. The process to getting there is I'm going to have to make the sacrifice of swiping my card as often as I do. But in order to do that, I need to make provisions and prepare for what that process is going to look like. Does that make sense? Is that helping y'all in this season when it comes to waiting? All right, so we started off talking about this man at the pool, right? And we started talking about how he had been in this place for 38 years, how he did not make any necessary steps to get out of it other than when the waters were stirring. Here's the other problem this man made the other problem in this text. Somewhere on his journey of these 38 years of sitting there, somebody told him the only way that he could be healed is if he walked into the water. Somebody told him there was only one way to get the promise that he was looking for. And so many of us have that same mindset. The only way we can get what it is that we're looking for is to pray. And yes, prayer is the primary way, but then there's other provisions that God has made for us to get them as well. See, instead of this man looking at the fact that, hey, if I go to the water, I'll be healed. Here's what he missed. Sir, do you realize you were still moving even when the water was not? Sir, do you realize you didn't need nobody else? You kept saying, I got close and somebody else got in. So that meant that you got up off your mat. So if you could get up off your mat to get to the water, then can't you get up off your mat and walk away? Sometimes when we're waiting, we get so focused. We get laser focused. All we can see is that one promise. I got to get to the water. I got to get to the water. I got to get to the water. By any means necessary, I got to get to the water. And Jesus come along and he tapped your shoulder. Hey, do you want to be made well? Then get up and walk. Just that simple. Get up. Jesus said, you want to be made well? Stop sitting still and be still. Jesus said, you so worried about the water, you don't even see me moving in all the other times of your life. You so worried about the water, you don't even see me moving in other aspects of your life. You so busy about the water, you don't even realize that your legs are working. You so busy worrying about getting that $1 million, you don't realize you got $10,000 in your account more than what you had 2 years ago. You so busy looking at the scale and you looking at the 250, not realizing that it was once 350. We're talking about waiting. That's the other part of waiting. That's a part of the process. You have to acknowledge every small victory. You have to acknowledge every direction off the mat, whatever your mat is. No matter how small it is. It's like how do you fill a bucket? How does a bucket get filled? With one drop. It might take a while, but you let them drops keep coming. Let you have a leak under your sink and see how much water accumulates. I learned that lesson the hard way too. There was a leak under my sink and I didn't know it. I went under there and it was 3 inches of water under there. Can you imagine if I had done that with money? I had just let $1 drop there and $1 drop there and $1 drop there. Can you imagine what my bucket would look like now? So that's my lesson for you today, ladies. And I want to go back to the phrase that we had in the beginning when we said, waiting teaches us patience if we learn to find purpose in the process that is preparing us for the promise. If you want to get off of your mat, then you must make the preparations to go through the process, making a list of the provisions so you can reach your promise. Amen.